Hey friends, welcome back to the Gentleman's Journey. Today we're talking about my brand new stove. This is the RBM Caminus M, and check out just the box they have it in. So it's one of the nicest stoves I've ever had my hands on. Let me get this thing open and show you what we're working with. We'll get into some of this stuff as we go. Those plates are important. Here's the fire blanket to go underneath the stove. I've already taken it out and looked at it, so I've put it in this separate carrying bag. This piece I think would make cool decoration even in your living room or something like that. I'm not sure if your wife would agree, but it is a pretty nice box. By the way, behind me is the Cody 8. I just did a video on this tent. It's an inflatable. You're not gonna wanna miss that one. I'll have a link to it right here and in the video description. Make sure and go check that out. So let me unzip this bag and show you the stove. Check out this beautiful stove, friends. I cannot tell you how much I like this stove. I'm setting out the legs right now. Here we go. So they give you a set of gloves, and I'll tell you what, as you get into hot tent camping, you want to make sure when you're around this stove that you have your gloves handy. Now you have the little door here, and this is just the neatest little hinge. It actually opens the opposite direction than you would think. You pull up and that opens it, and you push down and that latches it. Right here is your air control. This is the only flue that I can find on this thing. It doesn't have one built in to the chimney snack, so it's right there. You can open and close that. We're gonna go ahead and open it now, and you'll see this is where they put all the stovepipe. This is gonna be the top piece. You can see a little decorative there, and then a little hooks, D-rings for the guy out lines. When it's really windy, this thing's up there tall, you might want to guy it out. And here is a little shovel, that way you can get the ash out, and we'll talk about that in a minute. A couple more stove links. We are going to be setting this up inside the tent there, so I won't put those together yet. Now something you're going to notice right here are these little wing nuts. So I'm going to loosen the front two and then loosen the back two. And these are heat guards that can come off. So you can see just how big these are. Those can come off, and now you have that beautiful glass window there. So it's gonna have the same thing on the other side. And there you are. You can see all the way through. Pretty neat. Really nice handles, front and back. There's the back. There's the front. Really nice handles. And a savvy viewer might be wondering about this. This is the chimney pipe, but it's in the front. So all my other hot tent stoves, it's in the back. One of the neatest things about this stove is there's a chamber that the smoke has to come up into here and then out the front. That makes sure that you have as few sparks as possible coming out. These things are really famous for letting the sparks come out of the stovepipe back down onto your tent and burning little holes in it. I do have some holes in my other tents because a spark arrestor just isn't good enough. Now this here at the top is typically where you'll see the spark arrestor on most tents. This is not really a spark arrestor. You can see the big holes. What they do is they have it down in here actually, and they've even made it into a little bear for the RBM logo, but that is the spark arrestor. It's gonna catch any last sparks before it goes up the tube. So that's the theory. We're gonna test all that in the brand new tent over here. Here in a moment, we're gonna get a fire burning in there. Now something to note is everything is really sturdy steel on this. All the welds are really sharp. And I told you we'd come back to these panels. RBM is one of those companies that thinks of everything and they just overgive. They over provide. The value with them is like none other. What they offer here is extra panels. If you're dinking around and you break a glass, if you hit it or something like that, you take off these 3 screws and then you can put this panel in there. Or maybe you just decide you don't want the glass, you can put this panel in there. What say you? We get this stove inside the tent and see how it's looking in there. Here we are inside this awesome tent. Don't forget to go check out that video. But this little bag that I was telling you about has the fire blanket. So I want to make sure and put this down before we get anything going. so that we protect the floor of this tent. So I got the stove in here and it is in the corner. I got it pretty much lined up with the top right there. I'm gonna start figuring out where I need to put the hole. So you can see here they have the heat resistant material. You just gotta make a slit in there for that stovepipe. So that went very smoothly. I'm happy with that. I'll take you to the outside and show you what it looks like. They have a nice Velcro to make sure the door, the rain fly over this can't really get burnt. So you can see my cuts right here, and here's that Velcro. When you're not having a fire, you can have this down for the rain, but they have enough Velcro to kind of hold it back. Here's a side shot of that. Now you can see how it's not touching the pipe. That's just something I would keep an eye on. And I connect the top piece first, because I'm not that tall, and now I got the whole pipe on. So now you can get an idea of how tall that is. I'm 6'2", and it's way up there. You can see the little guy out positions if we were to guy that out. I won't have a fire running too long today. It's windy, but not too windy, and it's actually very stable in there. So we won't guy it out in this video. Well, here we are fixing to start the fire, and this is one of my funnest things, one of my greatest joys, and I'll show you what I'm using today. So this is my Mora knife. It is a full tang steel blade, carbon steel that goes all the way through. That's the full tang. I'm gonna use this to, I've already did some feather sticking. I've already split down some wood, but this throws the sparks for me on my ferro rod. So I love a ferro rod. Right here I have some jute cord. I got this from SWS, and so I'll have a link to them as well. They have some really good fire starters. I have all their stuff. And then I went ahead and shaved down some fat wood. This is fat wood. It has nice pine pitch in there. I got some shavings in there, and then I have what I call my smalls, which is really gonna catch first up to my mediums. And then 2x4, I have my large stuff ready to go. So we're not gonna burn forever today, but I do wanna burn it in, get it nice and hot. So let me get this stuff in there and we'll get a fire going. So that stuff will probably take a spark as is, no problem, but I'm gonna cheat. Light up my jute cord. See if that stays. And then I will just light this periodically in different spots. And that stuff can't help but burn. So I got a little bit of that going, and now I'll start feeding it with my smalls. Well, we're burning now, friends. Let me tell you. That stove is awesome. I'm gonna get it dialed in. I can't wait to go out on a camp and use this thing. This stove is gonna be perfect for my RBM up 2. One thing about that, where they put the stovepipe in this tent and the RBM up 2, makes it where the stove can sit back. So the stove sits back, the pipe's here. I've already been out there checking for sparks and there's nothing coming through. This is really, really dry pine wood. If there were sparks, they would be coming through. I'm just getting it really nice and hot. There are gonna be many videos with this tent and this stove. Guys, look no further than RBM. Make sure and check out the link in the description. Guys, head over there, get yourself a stove and a tent, and get out to the mountains as quick as possible. I sure hope that you're enjoying everything that we're doing over here at the Gentleman's Journey. Got a bunch of fun camping stuff, boots, menswear, all kinds of stuff coming out in the future. Be sure to subscribe and stick back for more. Guys, until the next video, God bless, and hey, don't forget to give your tent and your stove some love from time to time.